right, I don't have a finished one for you today. We're gonna work this one out together. Show you the traceable. It's our cute little guy from the Amethyst Fox. If you wanted to buy one already made, that's where I got this from. So you could check them out on Etsy, I think. So let's get started. I already went ahead and put a coat of gray paint on this, but it turned out a little darker than I like. So we're gonna go ahead, I'm gonna show you how to do it, and I'm gonna lighten mine up just a smidge. So what you're gonna do is take your white paint and your black paint and just pull out a little bit. And we're gonna mix it together. You probably need a pretty good bit, but I like to try to keep some of my white, so. All right, we're gonna mix that in pretty good, see how it looks. It might be a little too light. I still have a little black on my brush, so it's probably better to mix this with a smaller brush. But hey, you know, we're gonna work with what we got. I think I need just a touch more black in mine. All right. All right, and I don't want to mix it up too good. I want some streaks in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to kind of trace around this outer edge first. That way, because if you guys are doing the two-sided one, you want to be careful not to get any paint on the back of this one. So I'm just gonna kind of go carefully around the edges, and then I'm gonna come back and push out to the sides. I don't want to scrape my brush against the sides, so just gonna go across. There we go. Start from the middle, work your way out. Then you can kind of be careful with your brush over here at the edge and pull it over some more. I'm trying to keep my little streaks as horizontal as possible. You can tell I'm not really going with the lines I had before, but you're not gonna be able to see them, so it's okay. So the way I'm getting these streaks is I'm just not mixing my paint completely. You can see, I'm gonna show you again. I've got streaks all in my paint, so I can kind of just pick up a little bit of everything, put it on there. And the more you play with it, the more you brush across it, the more it blends in. So if you don't like it, you just keep brushing it and adding more color to it. I'm trying very hard just to go to the edges and not scrape my brush across the edge when I'm going back in toward the middle. All right, you might have to pick it up. Probably going to get paint on your hands on this one. And if you're having trouble doing your lines completely horizontal, don't worry so much about it. You can do them kind of swoopy. You could do little X's. All right, so to get it finished up, I just want to hold it kind of on the side and not touch the front of it. And just bring it right off that edge. All right, at this point, your paint should be getting pretty dry and you don't want to keep going across it. So once you've got it completely covered like this, if the paint is moving pretty well, you know, you can keep messing with it. But you kind of can tell the brush starts to drag and it doesn't look as smooth. So when it starts to do that, stop and let it dry or blow dry it, which is what I'm going to do. So if you don't like it at this point, go ahead and do the first step again. But there's a lot going on this, so I'm not too worried about my background being just perfect. So if it was going to be more open, you know, I wouldn't really like this right here or this right here or a few other things, but there's going to be a lot going on, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. All right, so I'm going to show you another way to transfer your traceable. On the other side, on the fall one, I showed you, you did it with the carbon paper. On this one, we're going to do it with chalk. So if you're getting a kit, I'll send you a piece of chalk with it. And you can still do it with a carbon paper. It's just when you have a darker background, mine is light enough. You would be able to see the dark gray carbon paper. But if you get it too dark, you're not going to be able to see your lines from the carbon paper. So you either need a white carbon paper or you need something that's a lighter color. So I'm going to go with yellow chalk. I'm just going to color in the whole back of my traceable. Or at least, I'm not going to go around the edges because I don't need the edges, but at least where I know there's stuff going on. I can kind of see through it, you know, where his little head's at, his blanket, and make it a little darker right there. And color really well where your letters are at. I hope the sound doesn't bother you guys. You can kind of too, if you hold it up a little bit, you can see through it a little better so that you can see if you've got everything. All right, feel pretty good about that. Hold it up and see if I can see if I've missed anything. Yep, I missed right there. All right, let's see. I don't know if I really like this halo. I'm thinking I might leave it off, but or maybe try to do it a different color. All right, I think I got most everything. I'm going to shake it off because you don't want the dust all over every place. And you guys will have holes in yours, so you can see up here on the printable where those holes are. That may help you a little bit line yours up. I don't have holes on mine yet, so I'm just kind of trying to get my lines that are going horizontal to stay horizontal. So I think he's gonna look okay right there. Getting pretty close to centered. Let me put him up there so you guys can see. All right, I need a piece of tape. Here it is. All right. So the same thought with this as the carbon paper. I like to use a pen because this isn't super detailed. And a pen is a little thicker, or if you've got a, you know, kind of a fat tipped pencil, or you could even use the back end of a paintbrush. All right, so we're just gonna trace over our letters. A little bow's in the way, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna do the first letter. And then I'm going to just check behind it and see. Now there are black and white letters, but I'm kind of just trying to do the general shape. Okay, I'm going to hold on to my tape and see you can, let's see if you can see that. I don't know if you can see. You can see it well enough. Okay. going. So you could also do it with a pencil, but that would not help you if your gray is, you know, the same color as your pencil lead and your background are the same. So that wouldn't help you. That's why I like the chalk on this one. Scooting my E over just a smidge. Don't mind me. Okay, well, I didn't scoot him over as much as I thought I was going to. All right, I'm going to make this baby Jesus head just a little smaller. And I'm going to bring my hay up a little higher. So I think his head looks kind of big on this. So I'm just going where these lines are at, right above them instead of right on top of them. And you guys don't have to do this. It's just what I'm going to do. Lolita's blanket the same way. All right, and once you get done tracing, you're just gonna do kind of the same way you do with the carbon paper. You're just gonna hold it down at the top and look and see if you like it. I feel like my little major crib is a little crooked, but we'll see if we can make that work. All right, I'd like to be able to see that a little better, so I'm gonna go back over that. Press down a little harder. What's that? All right, I hope my head wasn't just in your way. I think I can see that well enough. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to take this size brush, wet it, wipe it off. And I'm going to take some of this white acrylic that I have. I'm going to go, I'm just going to paint in the things that are going to be yellow, just because I want my yellow to be really bright. And if I have that gray behind it, it's not going to be as bright as I want it. So we're not going to do the letters yet. We're going to do the letters. Haven't decided yet. The letters are pretty big, so I think you guys won't have too much trouble doing them with a paintbrush. I know a lot of people hate doing letters with a paintbrush, so it's a little harder. You can, of course, do it with a paint marker or a Sharpie. If you're going to do it with a Sharpie, though, you'll want to just outline your letters with the black instead of doing it underneath like you'll see in a few minutes. Go ahead and paint his face. So that won't be too dark. And if you're doing the halo, you can go ahead and paint that. If your paint is like mine, if it's been sitting there a few minutes, it kind of dries almost as soon as you put it on there. I don't like that. So just pick up a little more water and mix it in with your white paint. All right. Then we'll go ahead and do, I'm gonna take my pencil just so I can see these lines. You could do it with Sharpie if you wanted. You'll be able to see through it. I just want to make sure I can see through these lines when I need to. Kind of like our F in the fall one. Of course, I just painted over that and I don't know if I can see it or not, but okay. All right, at this point, if you're worried about being, I'm pretty sure I can draw that back in there, but if you're worried about it, you may want to draw back in those lines. They're not too bad though. I think you guys can handle it if you paint over it, don't worry. The paintbrush is probably a little bigger than I would like. I'm going to keep working with it. I'm trying not to have lumps in my paint or big. I don't like that paintbrush. I need a smaller one. You want to smooth out your paint the best you can, especially when you're doing a base coat like this. Try to go in the direction like that the hay would be falling, or you know, if you're doing a mound like the blanket, follow that along. I'm just making a big mess on this today, guys. I'm kind of having a weird day today. It's okay. We're gonna get through this painting and we're gonna have fun doing it, right? I hope you guys like these. If you guys are ever on Pinterest or you see something online that you would like to try to paint and there are no tutorials out there, I would be happy to do a tutorial for you. Just message me and we can work out a kit, and maybe it would be something I could do in one of my classes. And then just so you guys know, after the first of the year, anything on my website, any paintings that I've had for sale, well, I'm not going to say any of them, but almost any. You're welcome to ask about any of them. Anything that I've painted before in a class, or just anything that's on my Little Miss Crafty Pants Facebook page. If you guys would like to paint it at home with some friends or by yourself, you will be able to message me and order a kit. So I'm going to try to work on that after the first of the year. All right, I think that's all the stuff that we want to be really, really bright. So we're going to let that dry. Am I telling the truth? Let's do this now. I'm going to start with this brush. Can you guys see that brush? I'm going to start with this brush. You could also do a detail brush and do the edges first, or also you could use a round brush, whatever you like for this. I'm going to start out, see how I like this flat brush. I'm going to get some black, and I'm just going to, maybe I need to turn it upside down so I don't put my hand in it. going to trace out these letters just a little bit. Now you guys can skip this step if you want to just outline the letters with a Sharpie. You can absolutely do that, or a paint marker. I think I told you before, you probably don't want to use a chalk marker unless it's just going to be inside your house, because the chalk marker will kind of wash off over time. I'm not completely filling in these letters with the black. It's just going to show up in a few places behind where the letters are white. So I want to make sure it's smooth. I don't want to have a bunch of lumps. And I'm more or less just following the lines for one side of the letter. It'll almost give the letters a shadow. Okay. All right. I think I'm happy with that. I'll rinse out my brush because I like this brush. I'm gonna get what do I want to do? A darker brown. I'm gonna paint in a little manger. The bed part is called the manger, right? I've been trying to figure that out for a while, and I think that I figured that out. But I could be wrong. All right, so I've still got some black. I've got my dark brown, and I've got my reddish brown. Ooh. All right. And so I'm trying to pick up just a little bit. Let me see if you guys can see. Okay, I'm gonna scoot over a little bit so you guys can see what I'm doing over here. Okay, so I've got my dark brown, my red brown, and my black. And I'm gonna try, I think it's gonna be better to outline it first, but let's see. Oh, I forgot this thing is looking crooked and I needed to fix it. Okay. We'll see. I'll look at the traceable once I finish and see if I need to fix something for you guys, because that looked a little wonky to me. Maybe we just need to turn it. I'll work it out. You guys don't want to worry about that right now. Okay. So we're tracing. Okay, now what I'm going to do, just going to pick up a little bit of all three. And as I go up, going to fill these in, but I don't want too much of the red brown, because that's going to be something that stands out. So you want to do a whole lot more of the darker browns. And I'm just gonna just fill this whole thing in doing this to start with, and then I'll go back and add in the lighter ones. All right. Now we're going to be a little more careful filling up under the hay. I'm not going to worry about streaking this to look like too much. Just going to fill it in. All right. Put a little more black and dark brown in the back one, because you want, when you want something to look further away, you're going to paint it darker, and when you want something to look closer to you, you're going to paint it a little bit lighter. So that's what we're going to do with the front leg. We're going to make it just a little lighter. I'm just going to trace this little shape right here and then make it look. And then once I trace the edges, then I'm going to make all of my strokes go the same way. Okay. And this front one, we're going to pick up mostly just the brown and the red. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to trace out our shape. And then fill it in. All right, there are a few little boards that we wanted to make a little lighter. So I pick up a little bit of white, some of my brown, and some of the red. Let's see how I like that. It's probably too much white. There we go. And we're just gonna pick a couple boards that we want to be a little lighter. So we'll do this one here. And I picked a brush that I thought would be about the size of the board, so I could just go straight across with it. Okay, there's one. We'll do another one right about here. All right. Might lighten this one up just a smidge. There we go. All right, that's it for that part. This one's going fast, guys. All right, I'll make sure my brush is really, really clean. You can pick another brush if you like. And let's do this. Let's do his blanket and his face. Oopsie, painted right over where I did not want to. It's okay. When you do that, let it dry and then paint over it again. I got this kind of tan color for his face. I try not to make baby Jesus super peach. We'll see if this color works. See if we like it. I think I like that. I think the blue is blue, green, teal, aqua color. It's going to be fine with one coat. Mine is. The little head may need more than one. But make sure your brush is damp and make sure you kind of follow the shape around. Always looks nicer if you can do that. Okay, once you get it filled in, don't mess with it too much. Just start wiping it off if you do, like I just did right there. And let that dry. Alright, I've got two yellows on my table. I'm not sure which one is going to work. I really like this really bright one. We're going to give it a shot. See what it does. think it's gonna be good. We'll see how well it covers. Let's see, let's start with the star. We're gonna leave a little border around the star because we need room for black and some of the white. Oh, I really love that yellow. It's so bright. You can see any gray that's poking through though. Let's see, let's try this. I'm gonna mix some white with it first and do another quick coat. That'll help cover up the gray back there maybe. I think it's gonna be okay, yeah. Try to leave yourself a fairly even border around your star. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do the hay the same way. I've got that white, a little bit of white mixed in with my bright yellow. And I'm gonna do a coat of that. Careful not to stick your hand in anything wet. If you need to, turn it. I hope you guys can see. I'm just sitting here painting. Not really thinking about what I'm doing. Okay. Yeah, the white under that really helps. And then if we still feel like, if we feel like it's not bright enough, we'll go back with just the yellow. If you did a pretty good job coating it with your white, you might not even need to mix it. But I had a few places that had a little gray showing through. I feel like maybe that I made maybe I put too much black in my wood. I don't know if our black outline's gonna show up. Let me try to lighten mine up just a little. All right, we're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna go back with a little bit of this brown. Just the brown. Like I said, I think maybe I added a little too much black, so I'll try to go lighten it up a smidge. Could probably stand some of the red too, just not a lot, because we want the other red to stand out. We do want it to look like wood. I like that better. I feel like the back leg of this is too dark. Kind of lose it. There we go. These light ones, I feel like they don't have any variation in them, so we'll just add a little bit there. Right, I'm liking this. I hope you guys are too. All right, while that's drying, I'm gonna turn mine over. A little more white. I'm gonna take the same brush, but you could use, like I said before, you could use your detail brush or a round brush. And if you need to, if you're worried about sticking your arm in it, you could go ahead and blow dry it. I'm going to try to do these letters. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of the black on one side of my letters. You guys could do this with a paint marker if you like. Doing it with the brush, you will most likely need 2 coats of this white. Do the best you can to commit to the line that you're making. That will give you the smoothest stroke. So start and don't stop until you get to another line. Like that. Okay, and let it dry. Don't keep going over it unless you've got lumpy bumps that you want to get rid of. All right. And if you paint over too much of your black, you can always go back and add a little bit more around the edges. Or if you skipped the black and you are doing this step with a Sharpie afterwards, then you just fill in your white until it's as bright as you like it, and then go back and add a little black around the edges. It's kind of a shadow. All right, we're gonna let that dry. What else do we want to do? Oh, look what I just did. I'll swipe that off. Hopefully that's okay. Okay, while I've still got this white on my brush, I'm going to do a few things. I'm going to put highlight on my star. Oh, I was going to go back and put another coat on that, so maybe I'm not going to do that. I'll put the highlight on my blanket. Let's see, and then I need a few boards kind of outlined with some white here and there. Not completely. Remember, this is one of those whimsical paintings, so you don't have to have anything too perfect. You just want to outline a few things so that it'll pop. All right, let's go back and do our second coats on things. I like this little brush, so I'm going to keep using it. Fill in his face. Then I'm going to do another coat on all the yellow. All right, now a little bit of blow dryer. Finish my highlights. Where do we need highlights? Let's see. I think that's really all we need. Just a few like that. Make a few of these brighter. I might put a little highlight on a couple of these little pieces of hay that are sticking way out there. Why not? Okay, now I'm going to go back over all my letters. You just go back over these letters as many times as it takes to get them bright like you like them. I think 3 is probably going to be the magic number for me, but I'm not going to make you guys sit here and watch me keep going back over this. So I will stop with 2 for the video. I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but that was not me. That was my dog snoring. I guess they're determined to make an appearance every time I have a class. Sorry, I'm just laughing at my dog snoring away over there. Okay, next thing I'm gonna do is really the last step. You can do this with a paint marker, or you can do it with a paintbrush. Again, a rounded paintbrush or a detail brush is probably gonna be the way to go. I'm gonna go with my detail brush to start with. I'm gonna add a little more water to my black paint because it's probably gotten a little gummy. And it flows nicer to do detail lines when it's just a little looser, not quite as thick. Okay, I'm going to start right in the middle so that my hands aren't getting into things. I'm just going to trace over where my lines were. Try to commit to your line, but if you have to go back over it, go back over it. Don't really like what just happened there. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I think it'll be all right. Need to thin my paint out a little bit more. It's kind of thick. Okay, just turn it a little bit if you need to. Now we're just going to outline everything. I like this part because you can kind of, if you went out of the line somewhere and you didn't like it, you can kind of cover that up. All right, and I'm gonna just continue going down toward the bottom. Keep my paint thinned out. All right, on these boards, on each end of these boards, I'm gonna add some little dots for nails. And I'm just going to do a few outlines. I'm gonna outline the whole thing. Don't worry if it's not perfect. It is more or less outlining most of the boards. Don't even have to do all of them. This black paint is thick. Okay. All right, I do feel like I need one more coat of white, but like I said, I'm not gonna make you guys watch that. The black looks pretty good. I think I might touch up right here. Maybe a little bit on the back of this E. Yeah, I think that's good. Maybe right there. B, all right. And then for the star, I want to put a little black outline in there, inside. So we want to leave the white on the outside on this part. And do the black, kind of sandwich it in between the yellow and the white. Okay. All right, and the last step is we are going to make some little dots. And some lines. And 3 little dots. And then maybe like you can do them all about the same, or you can do, you know, a 2-inch line and then a 6-inch line, or however you want to do it. And I just like to keep turning mine as I go. I don't like the end of that one. I'm just gonna, there we go. Like that. Turn it again. All right. I'm gonna put one more coat of that white on my letters, and I'm gonna call it good. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I don't think it was too difficult. I think it was a pretty fun one. Thanks so much for painting with me.